Dude, have you seen the miners? Oh my God. There was no scenario in January where I would have said gold miners would be up 140% this year.
Only because the market's closed. Otherwise, we would get up and trade on Saturday and Sunday too. We've got a judge that said Trump can't fire Lisa Cook right now. I guess they love mortgage and economic fraud. Philly baseball Karen, it is. What a donkey. I was totally pissed off at the dad's reaction.
I think he had the right reaction. Just like, he took the high road, screw you, here's the ball, it's not that important.
But he took it from his kid and gave it to her.
Did you see my tweet a couple days ago about how I'm like, would anybody be surprised if the UK had societal and financial collapse?
We're on the doorstep, and what is happening, good people? We are here to record Macro Dirt Podcast number 63. I've got my man Jared Dillian on the line, ready to roll. What's up, brother?
What's up, Home Slice?
How you doing?
I'm doing good. You know how you get excited about getting a new guitar?
Yeah.
All right. So I'm getting something like a new guitar.
What are you getting? New equipment, like DJ stuff? Or?
Yes, new DJ equipment. So the CDJs, the CD players, they just came out with yesterday. It's called the CDJ 3000X. It's the brand new model, 3,000 a piece. So I spent 6,000, ordered them the morning of. They're getting here tomorrow. Dude, I'm going to play all weekend long on these things.
That's right? Great, man.
Toys. I love toys.
Yeah. Toys are great. They are something to look forward to. They're the greatest thing to kill time. And I that's something like, that's like a man thing. You wake up Saturday morning and you break the toys out. You know what I mean? Whatever it is after you have your bagel and coffee and you dig right in. Only because the market's closed. Otherwise, we would get up and trade on Saturday and Sunday too. But we've got a 15 sigma move in Oracle today, JD, a 40% rally, right? Their cloud business is apparently going to be much better than anticipated. We've got a judge that said Trump can't fire Lisa Cook right now. I guess they love mortgage and economic fraud over there at the judiciary. And we've got another cupcake PPI number of like zero headline inflation. And headline inflation has left the building. Trump is already out busting Powell's balls, calling him too late.
Too late, Powell.
He refers to him only as too late now.
Well, I mean, the thing with the PPI number, you do have to take it with a grain of salt. So last month we had a really hot number, and this month we have a really cool number.
Yeah.
So it kind of averages out. It's weird. There's something about this PPI number. I got a bunch of emails from subscribers like, do you think we're having deflation? And I'm like, no, I don't think we're having deflation. I don't think we're having deflation. Like, pull up a chart of gold. Does that tell you we're going to have a deflation? Like, gee whiz.
Yeah, I mean, deflation. I mean, if anything, you can say the commodity markets are sideways, but until like I start to feel like grocery store prices coming down, I mean, I'm not going to give into any kind of deflation story, not for a long time coming.
Yeah.
Let's just put it that way. So rates, we've got 10-year yields dropping towards 4%. Stock market clearly loves it. S&P 6550 bid dangling around an all-time high. Today, we've got a lot of strength. Obviously, we've got the Oracle news, so there's a lot of strength in momentum stocks, software, et cetera. Nvidia is up 5%. Cloud storage is up 2% today. Bitcoin is rallying today. Gold miners are still rallying. They make a new high every day now, whether you're noticing.
By the way, I want to talk about Oracle for a second.
Sure.
So when I was a clerk on the P Coast, I used to hang out in the Oracle pit. This is like in 1999. Like that was kind of my, like I was covering a trader who was trading Microsoft and Oracle. He traded mostly Oracle. And like, I used to sit there, well, not sit there. I used to stand there for hours and just watch the stock. Like that was one of the first stocks that I really paid attention to when I started in the business, you know?
Yeah. I mean, volumes must have been massive, right? Massively active.
Oh yeah.
That's the one name. That's like a .com era stock that has never gone away, right? Like
I know, it's crazy.
Yeah, they're up there with like Adobe, Microsoft. I mean, that stock is more or less an institution now. especially with what it's doing to the market today. Like I'm thinking this morning and I tweeted it, like, imagine getting caught short by a .com bubble being up 40% in the pre-market today. You know what I mean? Like that is just your worst nightmare. That's why I can't, like literally, like you've got to like start just dealing with the embarrassment and then dealing with the monetary loss, so this market is just very unforgiving there's no bear trade. There's no short trade to be had. You can't do it. We haven't had a 1% down day, and God knows how long.
Dude, I was just writing a couple of minutes ago. I'm like, we closed on the highs yesterday. We're closing on the highs every day. I'm like, show me a day where we close on the lows and I'll think about buying some puts, right?
Yeah.
Show me a day where we open on the highs and close on the lows. But until then, we keep closing on the highs.
It's the bull market. It's the bull market intraday chart. It's a U, right?
Yep.
You come in higher because there's always a little early morning excitement. You get the U dip somewhere into yesterday's range. Maybe you touch unchanged or something like that, and then it's buying. And then the plain vanillas are like, yeah, we didn't get enough on that dip. Can we just take our limit a little bit higher, please? And that's what we're seeing now. The leaders are staying in the lead. And then you've got technology catching up with all of the industrial gold and uranium miners that are leading the market already. It's like the bull case is strong and getting stronger for the S&P right now, if you ask me. Let's touch on the gold breakout because it is as textbook as a breakout could be. Do you want to riff on it a little bit, JD? And then I'll tell you my thoughts.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's time to start thinking about, like, if you're a trader, not an investor, like, I have trading gold and investing gold. And the investing gold I've had for 20 years, but I do have some trading gold. And I think we're going to get up around 3,700-ish. I think we have about another week to rally.
3,700 and what?
Gold.
Oh, gold. Okay. Sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah. So, I think we have about another week, and then we're gonna get a healthy correction. We're gonna trend sideways for a little bit before we get the next leg up. So that's kind of what I'm looking at: 3,700, maybe 3,750, somewhere in that range. So,
yeah, it's hard to tell right now because it's checking every box that you want checked if you're long. And
dude, have you seen the miners? Oh my God.
They're up and to the right every day. There's no fading that chart right now. I never thought I'd see the day, quite honestly.
Yeah.
And I tweeted about a month ago when XME broke out to a new high that we were going to see a lot of panic buying from time to time in metals. And I didn't even have this in mind.
It's panic. No, there was no scenario in January where I would have said gold miners would be up 140% this year or whatever it is.
They're up 100.
Up 100.
Up 100%, man. Yeah. Nobody would have thought that, and they're still going. What's amazing is that from the dynamic to me is that the gold bugs are still cheering them on and not making sales. So you've got probably slow moving funds increasing their allocations into a market where there's just no seller. There's no inventory. There's nobody sitting around with the stuff on the pad that's like, let's unload this, which is kind of the same thing for the whole rest of the market. There's no stock to go anywhere. There's no imploding sector anymore. Now that cannabis has turned and solar stocks have turned, I mean, there's nothing to lean on the downside. So that's why the bull is getting rolling like this. And the gold chart, I mean, we even got a little on September 4th, we got a mini pullback to 35.11, which for me in the short term was a great retest of the breakout area. That's when I added a little bit again, and I still have my addition on for my upsize trade, which I got everybody in the navigator into. And I still think that it can continue. Like I'm not going to put a cap on it at 3,700. I may tighten up my trailing stops super close to the market on my additional gold length. But this feels like it's something like this breakout. I would not be shocked if it took us to 5K with the same exact type of price action.
Yeah.
You get no dip. You get 1% higher every day, just incremental buying. And the volatility really gets kind of sucked out, which is kind of weird as it makes a new high. But that's a scenario that I think is a high probability scenario. What else do we have to touch on, JD, in the markets? Silver trading pretty well while we're talking about gold, we may as
Well,
well
we got
touch on silver.
CPI tomorrow. So that's,
What's that going to be,
2.9 in
though?
the headlines expected. So
It's just going to be another miss like today, man. That's how the data's been going. If you remember the price action, it's been like, if we get weak CPI, we've gotten weak PPI. I got a feeling that it's going to be the same way this week, even though they're reversed in order. So in my opinion, I mean, the gate is been kicked wide open this morning for rates to go lower and for stocks and gold to go higher. Right. It's just one of those things where confirmation of trend is the best trade you're going to get right now.
Yep.
There's no other like, oh, let's get these. These are cheap. There's nothing cheap. So that might lead us to the section on a couple of fun charts. And we'll do my fun chart first. I texted JD this morning and I said, send me a couple of fun charts to talk about. And we're going to talk about yours in a moment. First, we're going to talk about my chart, which is how U.S. comprises 75% of the MSCI World Index that I got from Brent Donnelly's awesomely astute report this morning. Now, I love that against the reality of what's going on right now, right? The U.S. is taking over the global stock market. I read in the headlines that there are protests all over Europe, right? So that's like the starting jarring thing where, everywhere it looks like the place is physically coming undone. And then you look at it and you think about, wow, look at Nvidia today. It's back up to 4.3 trillion in market cap. So now Nvidia's market cap is tucked in between Japan and German GDP.
Yep.
So if Nvidia is essentially its own country here, then of course the MSCI Global is 75% US, right?
I'd be interested to see what percentage of global market cap Japan was in 1990.
Let's see if we can grok it right now.
I mean, I would say Japan was like 60% of global market cap in 1990, something like that.
Yeah. Well, what's wild is that we are going back to where this MSCI was in the 70s.
Yeah.
Right. The U.S. was a huge percentage in the 70s. And what's amazing now is that Europe Europe was a real country you could take seriously in the 70s, right? With industrial strength and this and that. Yep. Not anymore. So now it looks to me like this ship has sailed. So this grok is saying in 1990, during the peak of Japan's asset price bubble, the Tokyo Stock Exchange accounted for more than 60% of the world's total stock market capitalization.
That was right. I got
Great
it right.
Call.
Yeah.
Great call, and it's good for grok that we can look that up right on the fly like that. That makes it really interesting. But look at when my study was look at the largest European stocks by market cap. It's Novo Nordisk Pharmaceutical weighing in at $315 billion. You know what I mean?
Which is down from about 600 billion or more.
Exactly. Yeah. Well, they're deindustrializing, right? They're just becoming less relevant, by design. And then you look at the headlines and they're protesting against Macron, and Banksy is painting pictures. Did you see the Banksy painting?
Mm-hmm.
Brilliant. A magistrate pounding away at a citizen using a gavel.
Yep.
You know what I mean? That's what I'm talking about. this is the U.S. freight train that is leaving the station right now.
Did you see my tweet a couple days ago about how I'm like, would anybody be surprised if the UK had societal and financial collapse?
Yeah.
Dude, it could totally happen.
Yeah. We're on the doorstep, and the people have had it. You know what I mean? There's been enough terrible crime there and enough of...
Dude, Keir Starmer he's prime minister until 2027. That's as soon as they can have an election. And they got 2 more years of this.
He is doing damage, right? Didn't he just arrest a comedian over there?
Yeah.
It's gotten as bad as you could ever imagine. And then Banksy pulls off that painting, which to me is like a cultural timestamp. They can cover that thing all they want. Everybody's seen that picture, man. And that's what the world reacts to. So it's pretty wild. And so that's why I think that it just kind of all hit me at once. And Brent is, brilliantly putting up the chart of how big a market cap the U.S. is. So you sent over 2 charts, JD. I'll post the first one here, which is the percentage of Americans married by birth decade. Right?
Yes.
Tell us your interpretation of that chart.
So I was born in the 70s. Were you born in 69 or
68.
70? 68? Okay. So you can see how each successive decade marriage rates are going down incrementally. But today, with the Zoomers, they are just not getting married at all.
Yeah.
They're not getting married at all. One of the funny things that social scientists have figured out is that there are a lot of benefits that accrue when people get married and not just cohabitate, right? Like if you have two people that are cohabitating and two people that get married, the people that get married are richer, happier, everything, right? Like marriage as an institution is very, very important. So if you look at an entire generation that is not getting married, like alarm bells should be going off, you know?
Yeah. Well, why are the alarm bells? The alarm bells for me are, they go off in the form of like the decline of the nuclear family. Like that's something that's like wildly apparent for me observationally. Like when I was a kid, every single human being I know kind of fit tidily into that nuclear family box. There were two or three, two bit at four kids, you know what I mean? Generation after generation. And in 1970, 67% of adults were living with a spouse and at least one child. Guess what that percentage is today?
42.
Great guess, 37%.
Yep.
So
Wow.
Today, the nuclear family only makes up 20% of the American household. It used to be 40 when we were kids.
Wow.
So it's been cut in half. Yeah, really hairy. And so that, I guess, speaks to your next chart, which we can throw up again. Throw up there is birth rates are falling more steeply among progressives than conservatives. I guess that lines up.
That does kind of line up.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, it's kind of funny, yeah, left leaning people are not having kids and conservatives are still having lots of kids, which I suppose, 20 years from now, the conservatives will outnumber the progressives, but
that's true. Yeah, that there it is. There's the importance of the nuclear family,
which actually brings up an interesting question. Like I have a question for you. To what extent do parents pass along their political views to their kids?
That's a great question. That is a great question to think about.
Like, was your dad conservative?
Yeah, both my parents were conservative, and my Italian-born immigrant grandparents were super conservative.
Yeah. See, my dad was conservative, but my mom was liberal. Like she voted for Mondale in '84, if that puts it in perspective. Like she voted for Mondale. But ever since then, I would say around the 2000s, she's flipped and she's conservative now.
Yeah. Well,
right.
Bill Maher is center now. So the whole thing shifted on us, right? Like, and I think that that's a reasonable thing because the meaning of the left has gotten, the meaning of the radical left, like, the tail end of the radical left is really batshit crazy.
Yeah.
And doesn't really apply to, our customary society here in America very well. And I think, that's the propaganda that kind of gets, bled into everything from movies to music to everything, video games, all the terrible stuff that winds up getting poured into your brain as a young developing adult, or even as an adult. That's the stuff that starts to work over time. There weren't that many LGBTQ kids when we were in school either, were there?
No.
No. That's a lot more popular nowadays. But we got to talk about something a little bit more fun off topic. Philly baseball Karen, it is.
Yes.
What a donkey, right? What a donkey. Now, there's a couple of donkeys here, in my opinion. I was totally pissed off at the dad's reaction.
Right? I think he had the right reaction. Just like he took the high road. Screw you. Here's the ball. Like, it's not that important. Like,
But he took it from his kid and gave it to her. That's where I have the problem. And I also don't like that she came up to him, this slight little, gray-haired gal, and he was visibly like scared, like shaken, like, oh my God, like what's going on here?
Crazy lady.
Yeah. But keep your composure when you're with your son, you know what I mean? And be like, okay, let's analyze the situation. And if the reality was, if the ball was ever in her possession, you give it back. If she had it and dropped it, you give it back.
Hey, look, at a baseball game, if a foul ball hits the ground, it's a jump ball.
Yeah,
It's whoever
fair.
gets it.
Yeah.
It's not who's closest to it. That's not the rules,
No,
right?
it's a dogfight. It becomes law of the jungle, right? Touches the ground, and it's anybody's ball. So did I ever tell you my story?
No.
So I caught a foul ball once at a Yankee game. The whole time during the game, we were talking about this, right? Me and my partner at the time, Frank Lupo. And he's saying, yep, he's the biggest baseball fan I know. He's like, I've been to God knows how many games a season, never caught a foul ball. So we go to Yankee Stadium. We're like 20 rows behind the home dugout, right? Down the first base line, good seats. Pop-up fly goes up. We're all like a bunch of people grabbing for it. It's right by us. And I sit down. And as I sit down, the ball is wedged in the corner of my chair.
No
right?
way.
Yeah. So it's under my ass. So I grab it and I'm like, hey, I got the ball. And my buddy Frank is like, holy shit. And the kid behind me turns around and he is bright-eyed and so excited. And I was like, here you go, buddy. And I gave him the ball, right? Without thinking twice. And then my partner Frank sat like this for the rest of the game and didn't talk to me. It was like, I tell you, my whole life, I go to baseball games. I never caught a ball, and you catch a ball at a game with me and you give it away. So he didn't want any part of me for the rest of the day.
Dude, you want to hear my story?
Yeah, let's hear it.
So I was at a Pelicans game in 2013 with my brother.
Yeah.
And we were sitting down and we took a break and we were up on the walkway on the first base side.
Yeah.
Foul ball coming towards me, hits the ground. I catch it on a hop. First ball I have ever caught in my entire life.
Nice.
I've had so many close calls. First ball I ever caught in my life. So this
cool.
kid comes up to me. He's like, hey, mister, nice catch. Can I have the ball? And I'm like, beat it. So then he turned his wheelchair around and drove away.
You bastard. You know what's amazing is it's hard. I guess it is actually hard to keep your composure in that moment. I think about that moment all the time because it's such a vivid memory because it was so intense. But there's a moment that I feel like I literally blacked out. Right? Like you're all reaching towards this ball and there's a couple of, adults all kind of reaching for the thing. And as the ball comes down through all the hands, like nobody knows where it is. And it's like a Twilight Zone moment.
Yeah.
It's kind of really freaky real time. And then to imagine my surprise when I sit down in my chair, not knowing where the ball is and it's right under my right ass cheek. That was great. That was a great surprise. But the joys of watching baseball in person, right, JD?
Love it.
Want to talk about our Yankees for a brief moment?
Yeah. So I was watching the game of the Tigers last night, which was one of the ugliest games I've ever seen. Volpe, he's got men on first and second, nobody out. He's trying to lay down a bunt. He tries 3 times to lay down a bunt, and then he pops it up to third base. Incredible.
Did you see that? Looked like a little leaguer at bat.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like if you go watch the highlight, you're like,
obviously Boone is like, you can't hit, so we're going to have you bunt, and you can't bunt either, And then there was that bloop single over the shortstop. Like, it was a tough play. It was a legitimately tough play, but he just ate shit and skidded on the grass and wasn't even close to it. And
he is not the gazelle number 2 was at the position.
Yeah.
Maybe. We're learning that the hard way with this kid. Everybody wants to root for him. He's a local Del Barton hero, and everybody's rooting for this kid. He's Italian, what a perfect guy, way to fit into the Bronx, and he's just not doing it. He's getting a little bit into that Chuck Knobloch phase too, where you can tell it's in his head.
It's all over his face. You can see it in his face.
That's what makes it uncomfortable. That's what makes it cringe watching the Yankees now, right? And when you think about Captain Cool coming up to the plate, right, in all those pressure situations, big smile on his face. Hey, couldn't have been more relaxed. You appreciate that a lot more now that you see this ding dong at shortstop.
And they got Caballero, who hits .232 and has 40 stolen bases and can play shortstop. They have an alternative.
Yeah, he's not the people's choice though, right, for that position.
Yeah.
Interesting. Anyway, I think we just wrapped up a really solid dirt nap. We covered the markets. We covered gold at the highs. We covered Oracle. We covered the Phillies baseball, Karen. I mean, we got it all done, man. And we covered the global stock market. So did we leave anything out, or are we going to depart until next week?
Till next week.
Till next week. Peace out, everybody.
See ya.